Hi, welcome to Dress to Quest. Wonderful to see you all today. We're getting ready here to jump right into this adventure, and today is going to be a little special. We're going to have a slightly smaller cast. We have a couple people out, but this is leading up to an exciting episode next week where we will have a new player showing up and arriving. So that'll be fun. Let us do our quick intros here, do a recap, and then jump right into the adventure. So let's start today with Erica.
All right. It's fallen over. Hi, I'm Erica. I play Rin Swiftbow, Beastmaster Ranger, and every session I summon this falling over falcon named Bert.
Yes, indeed. And next up is Eric.
Hey guys, I'm Eric Wahlberg. I play Volrik the Grey. He's a Rune Knight fighter and a College of Swords bard. And that's it for now.
Indeed. And next up is Space.
Hey guys, I'm Space. I play Aspen the Asimar Hexblade Warlock Divine Soul Sorcerer. That's it.
Awesome. And last but not least, we got Josh.
Hey everyone, I'm Josh, also known as Winged Horizon. I play Shifty Capone, the real Malone. I run the captain of this ship, being the shortest one in the group. I got the short end of the stick.
Yes, indeed. And you were playing a rogue, correct? I don't know if you...
Oh, that's right. I am
Yes.
playing a rogue, a smuggler, and a captain at the same time.
Indeed, indeed.
My goggles of night vision work really well.
I'm sure they do. All right. Well, with that, let's do a quick little recap here, and then we're gonna see what happens. So last we left off, our heroes had just finished slaying Thousand Teeth the Devourer, a corrupted guardian of the Lizardfolk. Upon slaying this Hydra, this corrupted Hydra, it bursts forth into some other form. You all, through Aize's help, tried to figure out exactly what happened to it, and were able to determine that there was a brand at the base of its neck in this strange spiraling symbol that seemed to be channeling negative energy into the Hydra and connecting it with some extraplanar being. And that seemed to be the source of the corruption. How it got there, though, you're still not certain. Aize was able to determine it had to have been some sort of ritual that was cast on it, but other than that, you're not sure. Upon returning to the Lizardfolk lair, Queen Othokent thanked you, gave you your reward of gold, electrum ingots, actually, and a magical item that Shifty ended up with, a helm of underwater action. With all of this said and done, Othokent agreed to send 2 ambassadors with you, 2 Lizardfolk ambassadors, back to Saltmarsh to formalize the alliance between Saltmarsh and the Lizardfolk to go up against the Sahuagin threat. You also negotiated bringing back the captor, the human captive that you discovered was a Zhentarim agent posing as a Lord's Alliance soldier, seeming to try to cause havoc within the region, framing the Lord's Alliance for aggression towards the Lizardfolk. On your way back, though, traveling through the swamp, you stumbled upon a strange sight, a zombie tied up to a post driven into the ground. Around it there were other slain zombies, and the zombies seemed to have been used for target practice. You decided to follow the tracks of this scuffle, this encounter, to try to figure out what was going on, and found yourselves up against a small encampment of humans. Sneaking up and listening in on their conversation, you saw them wearing Lord's Alliance uniforms, but heard the conversation, and these were indeed more Zhentarim agents. You dispatched them quite handily and quickly, leaving the leader alive, who quickly surrendered. And in exchange for his life, he gave you some information that his orders were given by some cloaked figure who seemed to tell really bad jokes. And they met this figure just out on the outskirts of town where the river spills out into the harbor. With all of this info gathered, you went back to your companions, the ambassadors and the prisoner, and decided to continue on with your journey. At this point, it is evening time. The sun has set, and you have traveled a good 4 hours away from that point where you found the zombie body. So I guess my question is to all of you is, what would you like to do? Do you want to set up camp here before continuing on, or do you want to push through the night and just try
I believe
to get
that's what
to
we
the
decided
ship?
last time.
What did you decide last time? To push through the night?
To set up camp, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Set up camp. Okay.
If I recall correctly.
Okay.
Volrik.
Sounds good. So after reconvening with these diplomats and the prisoner, you find a dry space. Rin, you probably are the one to find a suitable spot within the swamp to set up camp. And yeah, you set up camp for the evening. Is there anything you want to do this evening? Any conversations we want to have? Anything you would like to do? Let me know.
I have a question.
Yeah.
From the information that we gathered from this guy, does this sound like the person that had captured Eloise and her brother and Oceanus?
It does sound very
Should you think so?
very familiar to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And another quick question. What was the name of the man from the dreams? I won't say dream sequence. From the vision that we got when Aize questioned the captain.
Oh yeah. Oh boy.
I believe it started with an A. I don't remember though.
Yeah. You got me on my toes here. Oh boy, I gotta find that. I have to dig through my notes, so
that's fine.
I will look for that, and I'll let you know as soon as I find it.
Okay. Other than that, yeah. Does anybody want to say anything?
No, I think after all that we went through that rest of that day, he's ready to kind of just pack it up for the night, make sure things are buttoned down, that our prisoner is not going to go anywhere, that our ambassadors are fine.
Yeah. The lizard folk, they, depending on what you want to do, they do start to kind of tie up the prisoner to a tree to make sure that he doesn't try to get away. And then you see them just kind of curl off to the side and sort of stick to themselves. These lizard folk do speak common if you want to interact with them, but they kind of set up on their own, start pulling out food for themselves, and yeah, getting ready for the evening.
Okay, and then we'll be setting up
his tiny hut.
Oh yeah, Aize sets up Liam's tiny hut. That's correct.
Well, that being said, are we going to have the captive outside the hut against the tree?
You don't have to, yeah.
Are we talking about the guy we found? Oh,
Rolf.
sorry, which captain?
Rolf.
Okay. I'm making sure we got the right hostage. Just make it clear.
No, we
Understood.
Yeah, you let the other one go.
Yeah.
I was just making sure, you know how it's easy to forget.
Yeah, of course.
So that swamp fever.
Okay. All right. So the hut goes up, and you all bed down for the evening. I am trying to find this damn.
It's okay. It's fine. You can tell me afterwards if you can't find it.
Yeah.
I'm sure Chris has it.
Yes. I'm sure that Chris definitely has it. In fact, he's probably.
I think you said Mr. Nemo, didn't you?
No, it wasn't.
No, it
Mr.
started with
Nemo.
an.
No.
It started with an A.
Yeah. I'll have to look.
That's not it.
Ashwag? Abatus?
Oh, that was it. What was it? Abatus?
Was it?
Abatus?
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Avitas?
Okay.
Avitas, I think.
Avitas. Yeah, it was Avitas. Yes, Avitas was the contact that the vision revealed within Neverwinter. That was the contact that was there. Okay. All right, so you all bed down for the evening. I mean, you have tiny hut up. Is anybody gonna be posting up to take watch, or are you all gonna just head down, bed down for the evening?
Oh, I think we need watch because, again, we have somebody outside of our hut tied to a tree, and we don't want him to escape.
Okay.
So
I think
yeah,
we should probably keep him inside, no? Because we want to have him for some interrogation later, no, to show that we did catch him. We have him outside. He's like you're leaving him out for the bugs and the spiders and everything else. He could just bit by a spider, be dead in the morning.
that's why
We
we're
could
gonna
just
have.
rotate, watch.
That's why we'll have watch outside.
Okay.
Can't we just like hog tie him and put him inside?
That's fine too.
Okay.
I
Is
look
that what you
over
want to
at
do?
Rin. I look over at Rin and like, you want to tie him, or do you want me? Do you want to have the pleasure, or do you want me to do it?
I think the man is not going to move as long as one of us is awake. I could take first watch.
Okay.
Okay. Um, in that case, make sure that we keep secrets to ourselves because we'll be in a very small space with someone that may have access to Zhentarim spies once he is brought to Saltmarsh.
So no truth or dare. Got it.
All right, Rin. As everybody else heads off to sleep, go ahead and make a perception check for me, as you are on watch.
I rolled the sleight of hand for tying the knots.
Oh, okay. To get him like extra tight. Sure. Yeah.
To hog tie him, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so he's hog tied up. Sorry, just to be clear, and wow, you got a natural 20, amazing. Just to be clear, you hog tie him up. Are you pulling him inside of the hut? Is that what your plan was? Okay, so he's inside the little hut with y'all. Rin, you post up as everybody's asleep. You do hear Rolf drift off into sleep in his kind of uncomfortable position, but he manages to fall asleep. The Lizardfolk are just nestled up just outside of the hut next to a tree as they drift off. And 25.
Wow.
Natural
Rin sees
20,
everything in the night. Rin sees everything in the night. She sees through the night.
Yeah.
I see a bird. Fine, things just
She hears a troll 20 miles away going through and eating some carcass.
Yeah.
Crazy. I love it.
You sit here quietly listening to the swamp around you. There isn't too much bug life this time of year. There's a few insects here and there, but the temperature has dropped significantly with the fall now in full swing. Luckily, inside the hut, it is nice and pleasant and warm as you look out into the darkness around you, and you just see the shapes and the silhouettes of the tangled reeds and trees surrounding you. Every once in a while, in the far distance, you hear like something large sort of slither into the water. You hear things rustling through the brush. But nothing seems to bother you or come past your camp as you sit here. Who's doing next watch?
I'll take second watch.
All right, go for it, Volrik.
I'll go ahead and lift my eye patch so I can see better.
Okay.
No, that was a joke.
You get disadvantage. No, I'm just kidding. You have normal roll.
Okay, I don't. I guess I need to.
Oh, you don't have dark vision, do you?
Nope.
Oh, this would be actually at disadvantage if you don't have any light source up.
No problem.
One of those dang humans.
You want me to pass you my my goggles of night vision, Volrik?
Got a 9.
Got a 9. Okay. Volrik, you are posted up here. Your companions gently sleeping around you. And you don't really hear much through the night. Just that faint sound of a couple crickets here and there. And nothing happens. You make it through.
I'll pretend that I didn't know I rolled a 9 perception and go through my shit.
All right, who's doing last watch?
I'll do last watch.
Okay.
roll my perception. 16.
16. Okay. Aspen. You slowly watch as the light on the horizon starts to become kind of a faint yellowish gray as the sun slowly starts to rise, illuminating pieces of the swamp around you. As the light is becoming brighter around you, you catch a glint of something off in the reeds, probably a good 30 feet away from your camp. As you kind of focus in and look, you just see a singular armored gauntlet kind of resting in the muck, sort of rising out of the muck there. And the top of it is rather clean, just catching the light as the sun rises.
Do I recognize this as...
Nope. It just seems to be a armored gauntlet coming out of the muck.
I I go to Shifty. I just shake him awake.
Okay.
Hey, that...
What do you do? I was having a nice dream.
Shh, be quiet.
Aspen?
Shh. There's something over there. And I don't know if it's dangerous or not. You're pretty sneaky. You should go see.
I roll a perception, I suppose.
You see it. As
Right.
she points it out. It just looks like a errant gauntlet that was just left there, probably just kind of out of the muck.
How far away can I do anything through the layman's hut, or do I have to go outside the layman's hut to cast, like, for example, Mage Hand?
Yeah, you'd have to go outside the hut.
Well, my Mage Hand has a range of 30 feet, so I'm going to look at it and stand on the outside of the hut and use my Mage Hand, which is a conjuration. Just takes a little action. I go, Manicus, Lanicus.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it out there and go out there. I turn it invisible with a snap of my finger.
Okay.
As he does that, I'm going to bring my axe into play.
Okay.
And have it on standby.
Okay. You have your axe out. Shifty, the mage hand, drifts over, disappears. The gauntlet gets pulled out of the muck. And are you going to pull it towards you?
Is it a lone gauntlet, or is it connected to a hand?
As it comes out of the muck, it seems to be a lone gauntlet. Nothing inside of it.
I'm going to raise it up about 5-10 feet up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Shake it off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Get the muck off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I look over at Aspen, like, hey, this is going to be a good one. Good fishing. Good eye. And look at it. Oh, it's shiny. Come to Papa. Come to Papa. Come
Okay.
to Papa.
Drifts over, and it's just floating there before you. It looks to be pretty old and worn, but it has a nice sheen to the top of it. As it drifts up next to, kind of in between you both, just floating there.
And drop it in my hands and rub off the thing and see if I can find any kind of markings on it. Some writing.
Okay, make an investigation check.
Yeah.
And nothing happens to him as he touches it, right?
Nope, nothing.
I just get a little bit more greedy.
Okay.
That's all. All right.
An 18. You brush away the mud. This seems to just be a pretty standard fare, steel gauntlet. Probably human make. But as you brush away the muck, you see engraved in the back of the hand into the steel, there is it's actually odd. It's like another engraving of another gauntlet engraved into the back of the steel hand.
Would I roll an Arcana check
Religion.
to have an idea, or would I have an idea of, like, or would it be like a symbol, like, for example, for,
you would roll a religion check for this.
Religion, okay. Do I have any idea what I'm looking at?
Yeah, it's a symbol of Torm.
Torm. Can you remind me of Torm? Is he for the defense
Torm is
of good things and all things good?
kinda, yeah. Torm specifically. Hold on, I actually got to pull up my notes to make sure I don't misquote here. Torm is known as the loyal fury, the true, the hand of righteousness. Torm is the god of duty and loyalty. A lot revered by a lot of soldiers and folks like that. Yeah.
Well, Aspen, I think you if you want first dibs on this, it looks like some kind of probably a warriors. It's looks like
What
a
am I
gauntlet
gonna
of thorn.
do? What am I gonna do with a gauntlet?
Well,
I
you're gonna
work best with my hands
deflect
free.
arrows and stuff.
That's what I have a shield for.
Oh, whatever. Maybe Rim will like it.
If you want it, take it. I don't, maybe see if I use a conceit detective is magical. I can't do that, so just if you want to.
Maybe see. I do want to check here. I have one. How many? You can only have three things on. I have a rapier +1 and a plus a helm of underwater action currently in my possession.
You can
Are those
if
aligned?
if it's an item that you attune to, you can only have 3 items attuned.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think I have two. Is our rapier
Plus
plus one's usually attuned, or
no. That's you can just use that, and same with your.
All right, cool. Then I definitely have space. I'm like, well, they'll just notice something new, and I'm just gonna put it on. It's not to look. It can look all right on me.
It's very big on your hand. This was designed for a human. As you put it on, Shifty, nothing happens. It just kind of sits there on your hand. You settle in. Aspen, nothing else happens on your watch as the sun just continues to rise and lighten the area around you. The rest of your companions eventually wake. Everybody starts to get ready for the day. Shifty, an hour goes by. You don't feel anything coming off of this gauntlet. This literally appears to just be a discarded gauntlet that was resting in the muck. You would know the Mirror of Dead Men is full of things like this from from thousands of years ago when there was great battles within this mirror and many humanoids died within the marshes. It just seems to be a gauntlet.
Can I use my smuggler's intuition for fencing goods to have an idea of how much this might be, how valuable this might be, or how valuable I can make it be?
Sure, you don't have to roll. It just as you sit there and kind of it dawns on you like this is just a mundane object. It's not going to be worth much. You could maybe convince somebody because it has a holy symbol engraved on it. If you were to go to like a very specific buyer, maybe an archaeologist essentially, like somebody who is interested in history, maybe you could sell it to them for something. But yeah, this is just a piece of armor, an errant piece of armor.
How much do I think it might be worth? Like 50 gold?
No. This is essentially worthless unless you can convince somebody who's into history. You would have to do a con basically. So
maybe I can trade with Volrik or something.
Before the others would have woken up, I would have put my axe away.
Yeah.
Not to raise suspicions or anything.
The axe disappears. So, with that, your evening went by without issue. Do any of you want to do anything this morning, or are you going to head straight to the ship?
I'm just going to check on Eloise real quick and see how she's holding up.
Sure.
And I guess I don't know what everyone else plans to do, but I guess we'll be heading back to the ship.
Okay. You go and check on Eloise as she's getting her pack ready for the day. She looks up to you. Oh, Aspen. Good morning. Continues packing.
Good morning. I just wanted to check and make sure you were okay. And I know we've been through a lot these past couple of days. So.
Yeah, I'm doing better. Thank you. I, to be honest, I'm still kind of thinking about our last conversation. How are you doing?
I've had better days, but I just keep moving. I have to.
Yeah, yeah, we all do. Is there anything
Uh,
else?
no, I want to go check on Rin as well and see how she's doing. I guess we'll be heading out soon, so whenever
Yeah,
you're ready.
I'm just about ready, thanks. She continues
Okay.
getting her bag ready. As you go over to Rin, Rin, you see Aspen approaching you.
Hey, good morning. Are you okay?
Well, for all the walking through the muck, it was nice to have a home to sleep in, sort of, thanks to Ize.
I totally understand. This place is it's hard to get beauty sleep when you're waking up to muck and dirt. It's disgusting.
Never thought I'd be excited to be on a boat again.
You have to tell me about this time before you got here. It sounds absolutely wild.
Yeah, well, you know, you fuck around and you find out, and we found out.
Oh, how did you know that's what my saying? You fuck around and find out. That's what we say all the time.
Well, I found out, I guess, without choice.
Uh, I like you. I really like you a lot. Mm.
Thanks.
Your companions though, they still have to grow on me. But I was just making sure you were okay.
Doing a lot better. Thank you for checking
No
in.
problem. All right, then I'll leave you to it. Then I will go, pack up whatever I have.
Cool. Yeah, you get everything packed up and you all head out into the marsh for your next day of travel, going back towards the coastline. Um,
Hey, Volk.
yeah.
Yeah, Volk.
Yes.
I found something in the muck. Cleaned it off. What god do you worship?
Hmm. I don't worship any one
You
particular
don't
god.
follow any gods? Come on, you have to follow something. You're like a knight, like a paladin or something, aren't you?
I've been many places and met many peoples with many gods. I found that most of the gods have one thing that they espouse, and unless they're one of the nastier gods, they're usually something worth following. So I kind of have respect for all of them. That's all I can say.
Well, this thing seems to be like a blessed by some god or something like that. But I tried it on. It's too dang heavy for me. It's pretty old, but it still looks useful. I don't know if it can protect you with any armor. I'd have to double check on that with the gods themselves, I suppose. But maybe it'd be interested to you. You interested in buying it from me?
I reach
Yeah,
out.
check it out.
Okay. Yeah.
So you had mentioned earlier, Nathan, that it looked like it was new.
No, no,
Yeah,
no. It's definitely old. It just had a portion of it that seemed to have avoided some weathering. There's a part of it
look
that is
here.
shiny.
It has a symbol of the god of Thorn, not the god of Valor, just like you. I bet you if you wear this, you're gonna be extra protected.
Are you trying to con me?
No, look, you blind?
I'm half blind.
Well, use your good eye.
You do see the symbol on the gauntlet.
How much you want for it?
Well, it is pretty old, but it is blessed by Thorn himself. I'm pretty sure. I mean, otherwise this symbol wouldn't be here. Nobody writes those symbols there, regularly. Otherwise, they just make a thing where they have somebody's signature, a blacksmith. I'm used to trading lots of goods here, and not often you can find something actually that's still good after so many years in the swamp. That must mean it has some kind of a magical ability, to avoid corrupt, to avoid
can you make a deception check for me, Shifty, and Volrik? Can you make an insight
Yep.
check?
Hey, can I get advantage on it?
No, this will be straight rolls. This will be straight
All right.
rolls.
All right.
All right, 14 is what Shifty got.
All right. Let's find out. If I roll a 1, I'm buying it. All right, there we go.
Hey, that's a
So I think-
20.
it's
All
pretty
right.
magical. So I think, like, yeah, I mean, 50 gold pieces is a kind of a common goal. It's pretty cheap because I don't know what it can do, so I'm pretty sure you can get it. But yeah, 50 gold pieces, I could let it go for this much.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you 5 gold pieces for the effort.
Effort. What are you talking about? This is
Effort to
really-
con me with your silly story.
Con. Aren't you like? Don't you like history? This is a historical piece itself. It wouldn't be near dead men otherwise. Has a lot of historical relevance.
Yeah.
Didn't you say you worked here a while ago?
Yes.
Well, you should know about Thornhold, right? Of course, they like Thorm a lot. Otherwise, it wouldn't be called Thornhold. So this does have some relevance. But yeah, okay, 5 gold. I'll do it.
I like this that you think. So sorry, to be clear, the god's name is Torm, but I think that Shifty does think maybe the god's name is Thorn because you got that 14 on deception. Eric was Volrik was able to see it with the 20, so maybe that's what's happening there.
Yeah.
But just to be clear, it is Torm, Torm.
I know.
All right.
Awesome.
I give him 5 gold pieces. I say, that's for the entertainment. And I take the gauntlet and I toss it into the bushes behind me.
Does it have any AC value?
No. Nope. Sometimes there's just things in the world. All right, it splats into the muck. And go ahead, Shifty, you're 5 gold richer. And Volrik, you're 5 gold more poor.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. So, anybody else? Otherwise, you all head out into the marsh.
I'm obviously not paying attention at all to what's around me, so like my perception's like.
Sweet. Cool. Well, in that case, let's as you all start going back towards the ship, being led by Rin. Shifty, can you roll a d20 for me?
Oh, of course, I'll be happy to.
No modifiers, just a flat
No
roll.
mods. Flat roll. All right. Now let's go ahead and roll that d20 right here. D20 roll. I roll a 20.
You roll a 20.
Nat 20.
Incredible.
Hot dang. Hot dang.
That is awesome. Okay.
Lady
so,
Luck's on my side, Dave. Hey, thank you, Saloon.
So, Rin, as you are leading everybody through the swamp, you manage to find, you kind of looking around at the angle of the sun and climbing up onto a small tree, you kind of survey the swamp around you, and you realize that you're actually a lot closer to where you anchored than you initially thought. So you're able to cut your travel time in half as you start leading everybody through. As you're moving through, though, Shifty, you said you're not paying attention. Make a perception check for me with disadvantage.
Yeah. So I think it would be, wouldn't it be my passive perception of
No,
13?
just roll a perception check with disadvantage.
Okay, then I got a 6.
A 6, perfect.
So 14, excuse me, 14.
14, okay.
That comes some of the screen covered up.
Okay. As you're being led by Rin, you come to a section where you all have to climb over this big fallen swamp tree that's like just squishy with rot and moisture. Stepping up onto it, Shifty, you kind of have to pull yourself up, scramble over the edge. Oh no, are you riding on Aspen? Are you still carrying Shifty on your shoulders?
Yeah, let's say that. Yeah.
Okay.
I would have given him a ride.
So Shifty, you're riding on Aspen. Aspen, you have to kind of get up over this log with the little Shifty on your shoulders. And as you come down on the other side, Shifty, you spot just a glimmer of light to your right. And as you look, you can see this this faint kind of pulsing green glow coming from underneath this rotted log that you are all coming over. It's maybe 10 feet away from you.
Hey, Aspen, look to the
What
right here.
the-
I think
what?
I think there might be another object I can sell that Volrik.
You look over
This
and
is
Aspen,
going.
you see this faint pulse of green light from underneath the log, right where the water line is. So it's not quite in the water, it's like right where it's really muddy.
That is disgusting. But let's see what it is. Use your mage hand.
Okay? You need to be able to see the thing, Shifty, so right now you're kind of up high, and whatever's creating this glow is, you would have to kind of get low to see it under the log. Do you want to hop down and kind of lean down to see what it is?
So I want to be able to like kind of put my hand in there, just kind of reach into it like
I don't think
picking a lock.
I don't know. I don't think Mage Hand works like that. I always thought Mage Hand you have to be able to see your target, even as an arcane trickster.
Is under a log, you say?
Yeah. So you just have to kind of get down and lean over to see it.
Yeah, just stick your face in it.
Sounds like I try to use a mage hand. It can move up to 10 pounds. The can't activate magic items that carry more than 10 pounds.
Mhm.
Is the log it's underneath, is that more than 10?
Oh yeah, this is a big old tree. This is a full-on, like one of those trees in your background that is just fallen over.
I don't want to get too close to it, so how far away is it? Is 30 feet or 20 feet?
10 feet away, and if you just lean down...
I'll break off a stick, and I'm going to poke into the water with a stick using the mage hand.
Okay, great. The mage hand grabs a stick and pokes underneath the log. It kind of hits something. You can't feel anything through the mage hand, but you just see that glow continuing to pulse.
I pulled the stick out to see if it's been affected.
Okay, you drift it over towards you. Go ahead and make make a perception check for me.
Perception.
Or investigation. I'll let you do investigation.
Investigation. I think Aspen's also going to be... It's in front of both of us.
Okay.
I got
Investigation or perception?
You can choose investigation or perception.
They're the same. So.
Okay. Shifty, you gotta... Okay. So, Shifty, you're looking over this stick. You don't really see anything on it. Just some mud kind of caked on it from where it probably scraped against the log or underneath it.
Looks safe.
Aspen, you see just for a moment, there's a little faint bit of these, like, slightly glowing green particles kind of coming off the tip of the stick that then just dissipate into the air as they become so small that they're imperceptible. But there seemed to be some sort of residue on the tip of the stick that had these little green particles that just dissipated.
Is this like arcane in nature?
This would be a nature check.
Okay.
And we'll say at this point, Rin and Volrik, you notice your two companions are lagging behind, standing over by this big log.
Actually, yeah. I think I would have called Rin over because she seems the most nature-y one of us. So, Rin, can you come over for a second?
Right, so I'm leading the group, and I kind of notice that voice is farther back than I would have thought. And I'm assuming our marching order that Volrik's behind me too, right?
Yep, that's the plan.
Okay, so you both head over.
I'm going to actually kind of move over towards the ambassadors and our prisoner.
Okay.
And then look over at what's going on with them. I want to make sure I can both protect the ambassadors and make sure I'm keeping an eye on the
Volrik.
Yeah,
I think I found a real magic item this time.
All right, Volrik, you head over to the ambassadors, hearing Shifty call towards you. Rin, you step up next to Aspen. You can either do... Let's see. You will say, yeah, so you step up to Aspen. Aspen, what are you doing? Are you pointing out something to Rin?
Yeah, I will. Do you know what that green stuff is? I mean, it's like the particles dissolved once it met air.
What's it taste like?
Do you want to eat it?
I'm not gonna eat it.
Don't
Just
eat
taste it.
it.
If it's acidic or something, maybe it's. You can always tell, like, you
Oh,
know,
okay. I
don't
thought
you
you
rangers
want.
like sniff
I
and
thought you
lick
wanted
poop
me
or something?
to feed it to you. Okay. All right then.
Yeah.
Um.
See if it's fresh
Yeah,
or
Ren.
something.
Do you think you can discern what this is?
Yeah, no one put anything in their mouth. And then she's
Well,
gonna.
why not? That's the fun part of it all.
So Rin,
It's just
I-
glowing
And
over there. I poked a stick at it. It didn't melt it or anything.
so Rin,
I'll.
as they're having this discussion, you see the faint glow under the log, the faint pulse, and then looking carefully at the stick, you do see there's a little bit of that residue, these little particles kind of drifting off with this glow that then dissipates into nothing. You can do a survival or nature check if you would like.
I'm gonna stop my conversation with Shifty for a second and touch Ren on like the arm
Mm-hmm.
and give her guidance.
Okay. Do you, Aspen, do you think that when you cast guidance that is being channeled through your, connection with your father or with your mother?
With my father.
With your father. Okay. So Rin, you just feel this little warmth kind of course through your arm, and you kind of feel this certainty, this little boost of confidence. Go ahead. You can add a D4 to this roll.
All right. I'm rolling with survival. Oh, goodness. Okay.
You can add a D4.
Let's. After that, such a nice description.
I know. You're uncertain exactly what this is. I will give you this. You don't know exactly what this is, but those particles, you recognize those as spores from some sort of fungus. So you suspect that the stick probably prodded into some sort of fungus, which caused it to release some of its spores that then attached to the stick as it pulled over. And luckily there's not enough to, maybe... the thing is, this could be bad, like this could be poisonous, or it could be beneficial. You just don't know because you don't recognize what type of fungus this is coming from.
All right. Rin just kind of takes a step back. Well, it's nothing you could sell if that's going to keep you from trying to eat anything.
What about alchemists? Alchemists like all kind of weird stuff.
Do we have? I don't. Unless you have a safe way of securing some of it.
I think I use it notices all this and comes over and is like, is definitely.
And he dives into it. Yeah.
I'm very interested in what this may be.
Yep. Yep.
I don't have his stats, so I can't roll for him. But yeah, I don't. He seems interested, but he essentially says, but I trust you, Rin. So whatever you think is best.
So can we touch it or not, Rin?
Even though I don't think I wrote this down,
Uh-huh.
Rin has a glove that she for Bert.
Yeah.
So she's just gonna pull that out
Okay.
and just ask, does anyone have an empty vial?
I'm sure he easily does.
Yes, I have. Well, it's being used to store the Hydra bits, but we'll make do.
Here, we'll get you your sample, and we also don't consume things we don't know what they are.
Okay.
Everyone wins.
All right.
You
So,
owe me. You owe me.
so what's your plan here, Rin? What are you gonna do? You see the glowing
I want
under the
to
log.
try at least it looks like it's kind of dissolving, but I want to try to scoop some of it up and bottle it before it dissolves.
So that residue, I gave you that, but it is essentially gone. Like whatever it was is so minimal, it's gone. If you want more, you'll have to get down and
poke it
and try to poke the whatever the fungus is under the log.
All right, I love how we're talking this out. Okay, so here's the plan. I'm gonna does he still have his
I have a quick question. I'm sorry. I have a herbalism kit.
Yeah.
Does that come with extra vials and stuff?
Yeah.
Sure does.
Sure.
Sure
Empty
does.
vials? Okay, yeah. I would. You sure I can do this if you? I mean, we need you to get back to the boat. So
Yeah. Just poke it with your stick and let's get this over with.
I don't.
I can, if it's fun, I'll just
Okay.
take a knife and send a knife over. Just...
Give me the glove.
Okay.
No way I'm touching that with my hand.
All right, you have the glove.
Yeah, I'll put the glove on. I'm just like moving my cape back. I mean, it's already muddy and whatnot from Shifty's feet, but I'm like, okay,
You got this, Aspen.
all right, I can heal myself. It's okay. And then I'll go die right. Oh, I'll cast guidance on myself, and
Okay.
then I'll go and touch it.
Okay, you cast guidance on yourself. For a moment, Aspen, as you cast guidance on yourself, you get this like flash of radiant light almost in front of your face. You have to blink for a moment, and then you feel that warmth come over you. You lean down, and as you look under the log, you can see this very strange, like almost like spires of fungus. They almost look like a chicken foot that is upside down, sticking up out of the mud, without the claws, just kind of fleshy bits that's just faintly glowing green. And you're going to reach towards it with your glove and try to harvest it. Go ahead and make a survival check for me.
As she reaches in
Uh-huh.
to do that,
I got a 20.
Amazing.
I'm going to pull a prank and use prestidigitation to make like a clap as soon as she touches it, just for the...
Well,
for the
as you touch it, Aspen, you reach out carefully, touching it ever so gingerly, and you start to see it sort of pulse and bulge from the disturbance of your hand. But you kind of calm yourself, and you hear this loud BAM! But you manage to hold steady and not flinch from the noise. You recognize that sound as something that Shifty has done before.
Mm-hmm.
You just so Shifty's just gonna feel like on the back of the collar, just like pulling back, like not like actually hurting him, but like.
Am I close enough? Am I close enough to kick him? Is he close enough to me for me to kick him? Yeah, I'm gonna kick.
No, don't you kick mud at me! Don't you kick mud at me! This is disgusting.
Yeah, you kick some mud at him. So
yeah,
Aspen,
I'll do that.
Aspen, you pull these mushrooms out of the muck. You have 2 mushrooms. Their properties are unknown to you, but you're able to put them inside of this vial and close it up. They're safely stored within there. But you have 2 green glowing mushrooms. What they do exactly, though, you're unsure. I think Aize says something like I'll take a look. It might take me, 24 hours or something to actually figure out what this is. So we'll see if he figures it out.
You owe me.
You said dream or
found this.
Sorry, what was that?
I'm sorry. Can you just repeat what you said one more time? You said dream mushrooms?
No. They're just you have 2 green.
2 mushrooms. Green
glowing,
mushrooms. Okay.
Green glowing mushrooms. You just don't know what their property is.
Gotcha. I'll hand them to Aize.
Okay, Aize will take.
And I'll take the glove. Is it covered in like the muck and everything?
With a 20, you were able to be very
so
delicate,
I'm going to look at Ren. I apologize for this. I'm going to scoop up a bunch of mud and I'm gonna turn around and slap Shifty right in the head.
Go ahead and make it an attack roll for me.
Do I even have? I don't even have unarmed strike, so it's D20. Plus what?
Plus your dex or strength, I believe.
15 plus my strength is 16.
16. What's your armor class, Shifty?
My armor class is 16.
So you get smacked right across the face. Black, just mud across your face and into the water next to you.
Yeah. Okay, maybe.
You deserve that. Don't do that again.
I deserve that. As a captain, I deserve that. That was a fun practical joke. What we do with friends and all.
Yeah, of course. Here, now clean this up for Ren. Be a dear.
Prestidigitation.
Here you go, Ren. Thank you so much.
The glove becomes clean, handed back to you, Rin. You have everything back in order, and you continue moving through the swamp. As I said, you're able to cut the time in half because Rin, you were able to find this path through, and you get to the ship about a little past 1, like kind of late afternoon. You can see the ship still anchored out there on the water, Shifty, with your boat that's been pulled up onto the shore. It's still there. I'm assuming you probably like hit it with some reeds or something. You kind of pull it off to the side, and you have your what was the boat again? Is it the Sea Glider?
I think we probably would have. Would we be able to come with a smaller boat?
Okay, yeah. You have your small rowboat there. You all
Yeah, I think
pile
we would
in.
have brought up on land a little bit and hit it so it doesn't go off with the the tide.
You all pile in and row out to your ship, and you see the Diora there come into view. This, I believe it's like a single-masted ship with one cannon resting on it, and on the bow, painted on the wooden side, it says Diora. And you pull yourself up onto the ship there with all of the crew greeting you, pulling you aboard. A bunch of them stand to attention as you get on board, Shifty. And
carry on.
Captain. And they all go about their work, dealing with the rigging, getting the boat ready to go. One of them calls out, "All right, everybody's aboard, pull up anchor!" And you start to hear the chain getting pulled up as a bunch of sailors start pushing that. There's a term for that instrument. I forget what it is, but it's the big rotating arm there. And you are on board the ship. So, are y'all gonna head back to Saltmarsh?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Who's all with us? We got rid of the. We just had the captive, right, and Eloise.
No, we still have the ambassadors.
Yeah, still have the ambassadors. There is like some sideways glances amongst the crew as these 2 Lizardfolk climb up aboard the ship, but they don't ask any questions as none of you seem to be worried about it. Yeah. Okay. So, heading back to Saltmarsh. So, aboard your vessel, you set sail heading north, and within a matter of 4 hours or so, you manage to see the town of Saltmarsh coming into view. At this point, the sun is starting to set once more as you come into harbor. This time, you are not greeted by a whole contingent of Marines. Instead, things go about as usual as you pull into the harbor. Shifty, I'm just gonna assume you have some spot. You and Volrik have worked out a spot to dock your ship within the main harbor, maybe somewhere near the empty net. Does that sound right?
Yeah, of course. And how many have you been down for more than a day, right?
Oh, aboard. Right. So you've been out dealing with all of this for. Let me see here. You've been gone for 4 days.
4 days, about a week. Okay. I'm gonna give 14 of my gold pieces before we get off. It's like I give 1 gold piece to each of the crews, the 14 crew that we have. And it's like, you did a job well done. Everything's clean. All right, here's your allowance. Go have fun. Have yourself a ball. Make sure you're back here when we're ready to go.
All right, Captain. You heard him. Let's go. And they all kind of, as they finish getting the ship batted down and set up, a bunch of them go scurrying off the boat, excitedly off into town with their new set of payment. All right, you all are back in Saltmarsh here in the evening as the sun is set. What would you all like to do?
I want alcohol, so I'm going to the empty net. It's been 4 days. I haven't had a drink of ale, so yeah, I'm going to work.
Okay.
When Volrik finds that out, he suggests that all 4 of us go.
Okay. Yeah, Aize as well is going to accept. Oh, we have a first time chatter. Hello, welcome Wickworks. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, Aize as well, of course, agrees to join and heads to the empty net. But just as you are walking up to the doors, he goes, Oh, I actually need more time with this fungus. It's just fascinating. So I'm going to go upstairs. And he's going to disappear upstairs, conveniently. So he's going to be upstairs.
Takes his drink with him.
Yeah, he takes his
Oh,
drink with
you
him
can't go. Oh, well, okay then.
Who's hungry?
Yeah.
Whew, I think it's time for a second lunch, isn't it?
So you all step into the empty net once more. You can see as the evening is just getting started that fishermen and smugglers and sailors are all coming in to set up shop for the evening and relax. You do see Lurt there off to the side, still playing that big hurdy-gurdy this evening, singing some shanties to the crowd. This big bullywug sitting there. Yeah, Aspen, you are greeted by the staff as usual, heading in.
Yeah, I think I would go right up to Tani and ask him to give us 5 of the house specials and have one sent up to Aize.
Okay.
Since he left with yeah. So
So you go through the back doors into the kitchen and you see Tani there, this dwarf, kind of a round face with black hair, gray eyes, who's currently just prepping a bunch of potatoes, getting them ready for the evening. You see big pots boiling with wonderful smells coming out. You can see a large pot of some sort of thick chowder that's going. And he looks over and goes, "Oh right, yeah. How special for the Aize. Is this a friend of yours?"
absolutely not. Ew.
No. Okay. So you wouldn't mind then if maybe I could just take a little something for myself. Just nothing big, right? Just a little something for myself. When I drop the food off. You catch my drift.
Yeah, sure. That's up to Ayuse, but yeah, if he's open to it, I don't.
He won't know about it. Nobody will know. We'll be fine.
What are you talking about?
Never mind. It's fine. So you said house special, right?
Yeah.
All right.
If I go up there and something is missing, Tanya, I'm gonna come down here and hit you with a ladle, with one of your ladles.
I thought he wasn't a friend of yours, so I thought maybe you wouldn't mind. All right, fine. He goes back, continuing to cook and throwing things into this pot, working with great speed and efficiency.
I just kind of slowly just back out of the kitchen, just staring at him.
He just keeps going back to his work. And as you're about to leave, he goes, "Geez, Aspen, I thought we was cool."
We are cool, Tony, but you can't steal from the patrons.
All right, fine. I just figured, some fella from out of town, just not your friend.
Pretty easy target. Yeah, but he's in this group that I'm in. I can't allow you to do that. That would be why don't you go after the Lord's Alliance? They have a bunch of money and whatnot.
Well, that'd be nice if they came in here, They don't like to come in here much.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right.
I'll be outside.
I'll get it going. Yeah. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
All right. So, anybody else want to do anything as you are posting up here at the bar, getting served your various drinks?
Aspen, can we get ourselves a table instead of the bar? I'd like to chat with y'all.
Sure. I'm not working today, so I need places,
Okay.
Actually, I'm sorry. I'll take them to my favorite table at the back of the tavern, where it's somewhat secluded. I'll take them back there. You can come.
Yeah, you head over. You follow Aspen towards the back of the tavern, where kind of near the bar where the kitchen is, and where the doors open up into the wharf area at the back that opens up into the harbor. And Aspen kind of leads you off to the side, and there's one little secluded booth there, padded seats, one table. There's a couple of patrons sitting there, and as soon as Aspen starts to walk up, they look, see her, and they grab their things and mistress, and they start heading off to a different table. You all nestle in.
Yeah, after you guys. You said you wanted to talk, Volrik, about what?
Yeah, well, Aspen, my friend. You see, since we left and came back, I lost a trusted friend, I lost an eye. I have you all here. Rin and I, we go back a few years. But I think really this is the time where we need to decide what kind of relationship we're going to have as party members, as allies. Are we going to share what we're really doing, what we're really about? Or are we going to be simply someone you can trust in their swords or their spells or their axe?
Isn't that what we're doing? Yeah, I mean, we are a crew, aren't we? We have a ship. We all have our roles, and we have each other's backs. Did we have each other's back during that big snake battle? That thing was vicious.
Well,
what are you talking about? Come on.
I'm not looking to rehash the past at all. But some of the things that happened in the past are what have brought me to this conversation point. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. In fact, I'm going to tell you the most intimate thing about myself. I had a boy, beautiful young boy, Sergei, born in our village, our only child. He was not born physically well. Very bright boy, very outgoing, very courageous. Wanted badly to be like his pop. Wanted to wield a sword and shield and join me on the ship on my adventures. I knew the poor boy wouldn't last a minute in the battlefield. And so I steered him towards rune carving. In fact, he was incredibly talented at it. But it was not what he wanted to do. It was not in his heart. I felt like I was doing the right thing as a father, keeping him alive. He was bringing value. He was showing his own self-worth. Well, when I was on one of my forays, battled down south, the mercenary crew, he got sick. Sickness came through the village, actually. And because he was not as fit and as strong as most people, he passed. He was only 14. And I very quickly realized that I'd robbed my boy of the chance to live his dream and die the way he wanted to die, because none of us are immortal. We have our hopes and our dreams and the things we want to do, and I held him back. And for that, I feel forever guilty. In fact, it was a reason that my wife left me as well. But those things will happen when you lose a child. I died, as you know, and when I was in this kind of in-between realm, I thought I saw my boy. He gave me this gift, these powers and knowledge of the runes. They came to me in a dream from him. So I feel we have a connection. I feel he's forgiven me, even though he didn't say so in my dream. But that's where I am with that. I still love to adventure, love to fight, love all those other things, but that always weighs heavy on my mind. And that's what I'm about. And I'll answer any other questions if you have any. But I want to know about you. I want to know really about you. And if I don't think that you're as forthcoming as I was, that's fine. But then I'll know where we stand. I'll know we are shoulder to shoulder in battle, but we're not shoulder to shoulder when it comes to friendships. I'm done.
Are you saying it's kind of awkward, but you keep calling me kid. Are you trying to replace me with your kid? Like, I mean, I know there's like father-son things, they don't always get along. Is that why you're always nagging on me?
No, everyone's a kid to me. I'm really old if you haven't noticed.
Right. That is interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, everybody calls me Shifty. I mean, and you can ask Aspen here. I always take care of my friends. And by the way, I didn't just give 1 gold piece. I gave the full 4 days, 28 gold piece allowance to them all, to make sure they could have some fun on water, back when they're shore leave to the crew, and so yeah, I take care of my own. I am very loyal to my friends. Ones who've always around for me, I'm there for them. I look up to Aspen. Her and I, we've been together for a while. I mean, we've known each other for a while. Yeah. But it's just, and everybody's kind of called me Shifty because I sneak up on people pretty easily. It seems I don't steal from them. I just am pretty shifty, and that's how I got the name. And I live in the present. You can't live in the past. The past is, if you're living in the past, you're not going forward. You got to move forward, right? So, yeah, don't live in the past, Mr. Volrik. You can't do that. You got to look forward. That's how you become captain of a ship, right? You just got to keep looking forward. Live in the moment, right here, right now. That's why, now I'm no longer Shifty Capone. I'm Captain Capone. And that's a little bit about me. That's all I have to say about that.
Man, so what's your motivation? Again, don't want to go back to the past, but just because it's a catalyst for this conversation, when I went underneath and you were laying waste to those barrels as if they owed you money, and you didn't really have much.
No, wait a minute. I think you call me a liar. Are you calling me a liar? I feel like you're calling me a liar. We were not going after the barrels. You saw my sword. It was bloodied. We were not just fighting barrels. I threw a smoke down there because I didn't know who was down there. I figured they would have captives down there because, we were after people who could be smuggling people. And I don't like that. That goes against my code.
As he's talking, I just start eating.
Ren leans over to Aspen.
Just like a dad.
Mom and Dad are fighting again.
Are you done? I wasn't looking for you to defend yourself. I'm just saying it's a chance for you to be open with me. That's all. So all you want to do is tell me
many times
bits about yourself, which I believe. That's fine. If that's all you want to say, we can move on.
You keep doing your dad thing and don't trust me, and I'll trust you because I do trust you. We work together. That's what we did back in the swamp. We all take care of each other, and we build friendship in that way. We build it from experience, not for saying, "Hey, I'm going to be your friend." Great, be a friend, but you know what? Prove it. I'm still working on that relationship with you, but I'm here for you, and because as long as my ass been taken care of, as long as my ass is taken care of, then we're all good. You feel?
Shifty?
Yeah,
do you
what's up?
consider me a friend?
Oh, you're awesome. I like you. Yeah, of course you are. Rand, you're the best.
She?
And Bert, as long as he likes me, I really like him.
Well,
Bert. I give a crumbs to Bert.
I love these comments in chat, by the way. All right, say, Ren. I know about you. These two don't. Why don't you tell them about yourself?
Well, in the time I've known you, Volrik, and that I do not like talking about my mother, because talking about her makes it real. But to be quite honest, my story's quite simple. Grew up in a small wood elf village with small people. My mom, though.
People like me?
We're small to other people, I suppose, but smaller minds, it feels. No one
Definitely
really
not me.
saw the world. like my mom did, because she was the only one that really saw it. She was an adventurer from what she would tell me growing up. She saw a lot. She told me. I don't know how much of it was stories to entertain me and how much of it was truth, but you know, with a lot of elves I'm sure you've met, they keep to their own, don't like anyone outside of their own. But she saw our connection with nature the same way with everyone. We're all made of the same stuff. We all come from the dirt and end in the dirt. And before I could grow up, she was gone. And she was sick, and with, you know, how widespread the magic, it could have been easy, but didn't really. She brought it from her adventuring days, and somehow she felt like she deserved it somehow, or it felt like the people she lost it. I'll never fully understand her choices, but I suppose that's kind of why I'm here. I'm hoping to find what she found when she was out here.
She shines brightly through you, Rin. This is a story I knew. And I turn to Aspen and I say, again, whatever you want to say is fine. I bared my soul. You don't have to bear yours. But this is an opportunity for us.
Volrik, you stood at my bar a couple days ago. Or has it been a couple days since we had that last conversation? Okay.
About a week.
You asked me what we were doing. You asked me, why did I kill that guy? And I told you. Now, if it was what you wanted to hear or not, I could care less. I told you where we stood then, and I stand by that now. Like Shifty says, this is a working relationship. You can't expect people to just want to bare their souls over a few drinks. That's not how the world works. You know, You've been living for quite a while.
You're
As
here,
for battle,
preach your sister. Yeah.
Shifty.
Yeah.
As
Fair
for
enough.
battle, I will always have your back. Because if you die, then I die. And I don't want to die, so. And besides, what else do I have to share? Your friend, your trusted friend, already shared my worst fear.
Fair enough. So, we hang out long enough with you, survive enough battles and adventures, you'll start to open up. For now, you won't. But I'll tell you, our conversation at the bar, Aspen, which is why I'm bringing this up again. You killed a man who was bound. You had a somewhat trivial answer. Again, how many people have I killed? Can't even count. So no judgment. But it seemed a bit odd to me. And then, why you adventure? You say you like to travel. Well, there's a lot of ways to travel without having to risk your life every day against crazy tentacled monsters that you kill and they come back and you got to kill them again and all these other things. But this is fine. I have respect for you. I have respect for you, Shifty. There's a reason I didn't have an issue with you taking the ship as a captain. But
Yeah,
again,
I'm glad you didn't take that from me. I would have taken that as a rightful moral offense.
Well, going back to the story with Sergey, I want to help people be and what they want to be. So you want it so badly to be captain. I don't think you should die not ever knowing what it's like to be captain. So I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to fight you. But our group's getting smaller. And I feel like the only people I really know are Rin and the bookworm upstairs. That's fine, though. I'm still happy enough to be with you.
You get to know us. Just give it some time, man. I mean, I don't know where you come from, but like where I come from, you used to live here. I mean, not everybody gives their whole life story the first time they meet. That'd be kind of weird, like it's like almost like you expect to live in some kind of like clairvoyance age or something where everybody can just know everything about each other by looking at a glass ball or something.
I think we've just seen really quickly how fast time can pass without really knowing who each other are. If you don't want to, it's fine, but I don't think being vulnerable will hurt you as much as you think you do. But
I'm vulnerable.
Up to you.
Vulnerable.
All right.
I grew up alone.
See, that's
There you
where
go.
you're
I grew up
wrong,
alone.
Ren. Ren, that's where you're wrong. I was vulnerable once, and it got me kicked out of my home. Now I'm down here. I tried to help someone. And what did I get in return? My wings ripped away from me. So,
You still got wings.
excuse me if I'm very slow to trust other people. I mean, if Volrik expects his friendships to be the way with how he just gallivants and runs into battle, runs into non-combatant situations, ready to swing and kill people, I'm surprised he even has friends at all.
Well, in the cases you brought up, I've been through this enough times that I know what the next thing that's going to happen. When we were on that ship, if I was saying, hey, by the way, we're not really smugglers, we just want to arrest all of you and take your contraband, they're going to pull out their weapons and try and kill us. So, I tried to pre-kill them. Same thing with the Zhentarim. Those were bandits and ruffians, and they weren't going to go down without going to fight or show of force. So, again, just being preemptive. I have done things that are a little bit on the nasty side, but in those cases, I think I was just being tactical and trying to protect you all.
Tactical doesn't always have to involve your muscle. You know that, right? Like there's other ways in this world to solve issues except breaking down doors. Like, for example, subterfuge. You know that word, subterfuge? Going underneath and figuring things out the other way instead of just saying, hey, let me tie and hitting them in the face. That's going to be rude. You can never know what kind of allies you can make, no matter what side.
Shifty, if we're offering critique, may I offer some?
Oh, sure, yeah. Let's hear it.
Sometimes the best way to get information is by holding your own. So
Holding what now?
She's saying you have to be quiet sometimes, Shifty.
I didn't want to say that.
She's just too nice to say it. So.
Well,
right.
I mean, Shifty, of course. There's a reason we're all here. We all have our roles. You walk up to a door, you pick out your lockpick set, boom, you're in. Aspen walks up to it. Maybe she cuts it with her magic axe or blasts it with a bolt. I'm likely going to grow to be 9 feet tall and just kick it down. We all have our ways, but then results the same. And there's certain times when we want to do something like what you do, or what Aspen does, or what Rin does. Actually, we should all do what Rin does, but we can't. She's the real slayer of this group, if you haven't noticed. But
Bert is.
I'd actually like to find the back door, not just go through the front door like you guys.
I'm always open to suggestions.
What I usually do.
Yeah. A friend of mine said no one ever just knocks.
Yeah, I guess not.
Well, I hope you got your answer, Volrik.
Yep. I know where we stand. I'm fine with it.
Cheers to the group. Here's to the crew. To all the officers of the ship of the Dora. Oh, Diora. Excuse me, of the Diora. Here we go. And I clank. I put my mug out in the air. I'm glad we could all have this conversation.
Let's bust some Sahuagin head, shall we?
You clink your glasses together, drink down your ale, and continue into the night as the revelry seems to pick up. Which does bring me to a quick point that we can kind of have happen off screen. When you arrived, the ambassadors, I would say probably Volrik, you probably would have led them to the council hall, had a quick conversation with them all. And Rolf as well. I believe you were going to hand Rolf off to the Lord's Alliance. Was that right? Just want to make sure I understand where Rolf is going. Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, and we have the breastplate that he was donning.
Yes.
I'll
yes.
give that to the captain
Yeah.
of the guard.
So,
And
as
the
you
intention-
pass... Yeah?
Sorry to interrupt you, Nathan, but the intention, of course, would be the next morning we want to have our council with...
Yeah. So that's what I was going to say is, as you pass all this off, Volrik, Anders Solmor, the younger council member that you are familiar with he has the black hair, big dark eyes, sharp features, and this like toothy smile. You're passing all this off, and he looks over you all. Well, this is quite a lot to take in. Please, go relax, catch your breath, but meet us all in the morning at the council hall, and we'll discuss the rest of these details. I'll make sure that Galen is on time this time, and I'm assuming you would like this to be discreet, so I'll make sure that Ida is aware. We can use her office once again. Keep this between all of us. I look forward to seeing you in the morning. As a couple of guards take Rolf and start leading Rolf off into town. You all see Rolf getting led towards... there is one larger structure within town that kind of rises up above the rooftops off to the east. It appears to be kind of an ancient stone tower, very well fortified, and that's where the guards seem to be taking Rolf to. Shifty and Aspen, you would know that tower. It was a structure that was here when Saltmarsh was founded, and that is where the guards' headquarters are, and there are jail cells within there, things of that sort. Maybe, Shifty, you've even had personal experience in there once or twice. I don't know. So, as all that happened earlier in the day, you finish up these drinks, clink your glasses, cheers, and the evening concludes with you all hanging out within the empty net. Eventually, Aspen and Shifty, you do see... excuse me. I have a lot of tabs. Why do I have so many tabs? You do see Larissa come in later into the evening as you've all had quite a few drinks. She swings past your table, says hello to both of you. She kind of saddles up next to you, Aspen. Aspen, how are you doing this evening? Good to see all your friends once again. She waves over all of you.
I'm doing fine. Let me introduce you to the guests that were here a couple days ago. This is Volrik the Grey. This is Ren. They have a friend upstairs. He is off reading his books. His name is Aize.
Yes, and where's Sethreth, was it?
I'll leave that to them.
Just getting to know his wild self.
I'm sorry, what was that, Shifty? It was a bit noisy
Yeah,
in here.
getting to know his kind of wild. I think he maybe come from the swamp or something, and he just went off, and I think he's trying to find a mate or something. He keeps talking about his family.
She looks over at the two of you, Volrik and Rin. Is this true? You seem to be closer with Cedra. Am I wrong?
It's more complicated than that. But yeah, he might not be coming back.
Too bad. I was hoping to get to know him. Seemed like a strapping fellow. Well, any friend of Aspen's is a friend of mine, and perhaps we can work together in the future if our dear Aspen here finds you to be trustworthy. Have a wonderful evening, all of you. Aspen, of course, you know where to find me, as she whisks away from the table.
Yeah, I think I would look back as she walks away.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to talk to her about something.
Okay.
So yeah, I would just excuse me, and I will leave the table and follow her.
Okay.
I tell Aspen, find out if there's been any news here recently. Anything changed, on the Saltmarsh front.
Okay. Aspen, you go off with Larissa. She sees that you're following, and she kind of leads you into the back kitchen area. As you see Tani there, still cooking up a storm, serving plates to the various servers, and she turns to face you. Yes, Aspen, what can I do for you?
First things first. Shifty wants to know, has there been any news here recently?
Let's see what has been going on within the Saltmarsh. No news lately, just the usual stuff. The canal operation, they seem to be complaining about raids, things of that sort. They're having difficulty there. I've heard some rumors spreading of ships going missing. One such ship that managed to make it back was reporting about some sort of sea devils dragging their sailors off into the deep. I'm assuming this has something to do with what you've been following up on with the Lizardfolk.
Yes. That's terrible news. We have to get on that right away.
How about yourself? Do you have any news for me? My mistress of secrets.
Yes. Do you know of the Zhentarim?
Thank you, Golden Tongues. Yes, my mic had somehow got turned down. The Zhentarim. Yes, of course I've heard of them. What about them?
They are posing as Lord's Alliance to cause chaos.
Really? In what way?
We intercepted one of their spies on our travels to the swamp, and he was very well trained. He wouldn't give up a lick of information. But I think something is going down. Something, the Zhentarim is, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Do you know who's orchestrating it all? Did you get any information like that?
All we know is that the leader is some cloak figure who tells bad jokes. It's a terrible description.
Wow. Are you sure you're not being played?
Well, we got that source. We got that from two different sources, and then our friend Eloise, she remembers being captured by such a man or such a person.
Bad jokes, you say?
At first, I thought it was Galen, but he denies it.
Well, he would, yes. Interesting. Well, that's good to know.
Do you think you can find out anything for us? We have to go deal with these sea devils.
I'll ask around. I'll pay a visit to Galen. I'll butter him up with some drinks and some gossip. He always loves that. Maybe I can find something out. Thank you for this, Aspen.
Thank you. And I'll see you later. Later on tonight, I have to go back to the others, okay?
Very well. I look forward to it. And as you head off and you all finish up your evening, you conclude the night. The following morning arrives without issue, and you have the council meeting set before you first thing in the morning. And I think we're going to take our first break, or our only break. We're going to take a break here for a little bit. We'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes. Eric or anybody else, anything we want to talk about before we jump into break?
No, I guess maybe just mostly stick around for next week because, as Nathan said at the top of the show, we have a brand new player.
Yes.
Not necessarily a new player to three of us who've played with this person before, but new player, a definitely new character.
Yeah.
And we're super excited to have them, keeping it vague so that it can be exciting. As a matter of fact, the thumbnail preview will even just have a silhouette.
Yes, that'll be very fun. And I'm looking forward to it. As you can tell, tonight is a little bit of a downtime session. In fact, when we start up after the break, I'm going to talk to all the players about if you all want to do any downtime stuff. But yeah, next week should be exciting with the brand new player coming in. We'll have Aize back, and we'll have the whole crew. All right, we'll be back shortly. See you soon. Hello, welcome back to Dress to Quest, and yeah, welcome back to the adventure. Let's just jump straight into this. I don't think we have any more announcements to make. We're all good to go. So, as we come back here, the morning sun is rising over Saltmarsh, the fog starting to burn off, and we see our heroes exiting the Empty Net, the tavern of smugglers and pirates that leans out over the harbor. As they make their way across the harbor towards the council hall. Entering into the large brick building, you find yourselves being led back into the back office of Ida Oland, one of the council members, one of the oldest council members here in Saltmarsh. As you are led into the back office, the door opens up. You can see her sitting there behind her big desk. There are other chairs set up within the room, and within the room you already see Anders sitting there. You see, let me find I need my cheat sheet. So you see Ida, the kind of dark-skinned, close-cropped, salt and pepper hair, burly woman sitting behind the desk, looking up. She kind of waves at you, Volrik, as you come in. You see Galen sitting off to the side, the sort of dandy of a man with his like blonde hair going gray at the roots, blue eyes, and he's kind of holding his head, looking really tired and just kind of uncomfortable here. Eleander, the captain of the guard, big barrel-chested figure with fiery red hair, sitting off to Ida's right, just arms crossed, kind of leaning against the wall. And Anders as well is sitting there next to Monastrad. Monastrad, the dwarf woman who is in charge of the mining operation that is creating the canal from Saltmarsh to Leyland. Anders stands up and walks towards you all, gesturing to a bunch of chairs for you to sit in. Well, good morning. We have everybody here. Ida immediately cuts in. All right, let's just cut straight to the shit, all right? Everybody sit down. Tell me what you found out. We got to introduce those two Lizardfolk fellas. They're nice folk. Good to hear what you did for them. Seems like you've already established good relationships with their queen. Galen kind of yawns. Oh, yes, please. Let's get this going. I still haven't had my coffee yet. And you all settle in. So, what do you do as you all settle in? What do you tell the council?
All right. I'll look at the others to see if someone's going to speak first.
Okay.
All right. In that case, I step up. Council, we have a great opportunity here. I am interested on your take on that, particularly how it may affect what happens with Saltmarsh moving forward. But the Lizardfolk, they're on the ropes right now. They're fighting against the Sahuagin. They have a small army. They need our small army. They're ready to go side to side, shoulder to shoulder. They're ready for a long-term alliance. We've done everything we could to gain their trust. We've saved the lives of both the Queen and some of our important leaders. And we've even slain a great beast that threatened to slay them. This is also something that the Saltmarsh could take advantage of as well, because that Sahuagin, what do you think is going to happen if they take out the Lizardfolk? They're going to start preying on your ships, Ida. You have 3 large fishing boats. I believe that's a hefty income for you every year.
She raises a hand and holds up 2 fingers. That's 2 now.
Well, I don't think you need any more convincing. But I guess my point with all that is that we need to take this seriously. We need to be ready to commit forces, make an effort. I do have some other things on the side involving the Zhentarim. But first and foremost, I think we should talk about this alliance.
She kind of exchanges glances with all the other council members. Looks back. Yes, we've been talking about this at length ever since the ambassadors arrived. We had a long conversation with them. And we've been having reports coming in of boats going missing, individuals being dragged overboard by some foul sea creatures. All of this seems to line up with what the Lizardfolk are putting forth and what you've told us here. Eleander has agreed to work with the Lizardfolk, muster up the militia. There's going to be more planning and discussing that needs to happen before any real action occurs. Thank you for bringing us all this, and thank you for forging this alliance. We never discussed any sort of reward, but I think it's fair that you get a little bit of something. Anders? Yes, of course. And he pulls out a small sack of coin, passes it to you, Volrik. The plan is, moving forward, we're going to work with these ambassadors. One of them's going to be heading back soon to speak with the Queen. And we're going to start strategizing on how to work with them. Now, of course, we would love to get your assistance in this. She looks over the group. If you're willing. There can be payment involved. You've shown yourselves very capable.
Andrew knows I'm willing.
The Queen was quite taken with me, so of course I'm willing to step in where it needs to be done to proffer an alliance that can help us all survive here in Saltmarsh.
Well, that's good to know. Well, excellent. We'll send for you within the week as we continue to plan this out, figure out where you fit into all this. Now, of course, you're not technically under our employ. You can do whatever you want. But look for our word, and we'll let you know how you can help us best. How's that sound to all of you?
Yes. And there's a bit about the Zhentarim I want to share. And Andrew, if you have time after this, I'd like to speak to you privately.
Yes, of course, Volrik. And Eleander, the captain of the guard, steps off of the wall, kind of leaning onto the desk, looking at you, Volrik. What was his voice? Yeah.
So many voices you have to keep track of.
Yeah. Yes, Volrik, I wanted to speak with you about this individual you brought in yesterday. All of you. They seem not to be talking. They seem rather malnourished. Can't get them to eat or drink anything. What can you tell us of this individual? You mentioned something about Zhentarim.
Yeah, well, the rest of the crew is here as well. But before we returned to our ship, we came across some Zhentarim disguised as Lord's Alliance.
There's some exchanges of looks and glances amongst the council.
Which goes right in line with what we heard about Rolf, the captain we brought into you. Except we found someone else who was willing to talk. And most importantly, which is why I want to bring this part up, is we know where they meet before they go off on their, I guess, subterfuge, if you want to call it that, to cause some dissension and confusion about the Lord's Alliance and what they're doing in the marshes.
Well, this is wonderful.
Yes, so I think it's very important that everybody here, and I look over at Aspen and Shifty briefly, and say, keep this between us until you take action. But I think it's a good opportunity to ambush perhaps a large group of these Zhentarim take them in, find out what you can, cause some disruption amongst them. Because as we gear up against these Sahuagin, we don't want anything to happen with these lizard folk to make them think that we are against them or vice versa.
I agree. Well, give me the debrief, give me all the information. I'll send my best men on it. We'll arrange an ambush, see if we can catch this bastard that's organizing all of this. Maybe we'll get more answers out of him. Or them. Thank you. Thank you all. And, Shifty. Looks like the title of captain is suiting you well.
Well, I prefer Shifty Capone now. Actually, excuse me, Captain Capone. Captain Capone, you know, Shifty was
Right,
the nickname a lot of people gave me when I first got here.
Yes, okay. Captain Capone. Still
Thank
real
you.
Malone? That's the right?
You damn straight it is. Yes, of course I'm the real Malone. Who do you think you're talking to? Jeez.
All right.
Pardon me. I get emotional about that sometimes. I feel like, you know, people take it serious. What can I do for you?
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, thank you for all this. Ida, anything else you need from them? No, I think we're all good. Thanks.
Maybe one thing.
What is it?
Volrik strategy is a good one, but I think maybe we should try to collect a little bit more information so we're not just getting the grunts, the lower people, the pawns. We should try to follow the route. We do have there are some around it, I think. So we just keep our eyes out, and I'll collect information on my side.
What are you suggesting?
Well, let's give it time. And I look over at Volrik. We know where some of these drop-offs or meeting points are, so let's go ahead and keep an eye on those, and then we'll see who comes and who goes. Follow them around. But I think it should be done not by the guard, because they're you got your armor or metal. You're just making a lot of noise, and they'll know you're there right away. But maybe we could talk to some people here in town that can make sure where their alliances are.
Ida exchanges glances with Eleander and Anders. Make a persuasion check for me, Shifty.
Certainly. Persuasion.
Wow. Okay.
How'd I do? Oh, nat 20.
Yeah. Sorry. Let me. There we go.
Captain. To you.
All right, Shifty. Not a bad idea. In fact, why don't you lead this little operation? We can put some Lord's Alliance members under you. Eleander, that'll nice compromise for you, if that's all right. Put some of their best scouts with you. You can do a stakeout of this location, this drop point, and I'll let you lead this. Does that work for you?
I think so. Or maybe if we're successful.
I'm sorry, what was that? If we're successful, what?
Well, if we're successful, we get the information we need to, make the town a little bit more prosperous. I mean, we are going to get something out of that too, right?
Yes, of course. You will get some gold from this little exchange, this job that you're doing for us. Of course. Of course.
It's suitable for a captain, of course, right? Not just a teensy little bit.
You'll get paid for the job. You'll get paid.
Just checking.
All right, is there anything else?
One thing before we go. That man that you have captive, he's not going to talk. He's not going to eat. We've had him we interrogated him twice.
Well, if he starves himself to death, then oh well. We did our best.
Yeah, you don't want to let him go.
Who knows? Maybe he'll bring in some rescue attempt or something. Could be good bait.
I don't think they're going to do that, but
I don't think so
let's be
either.
hopeful.
Yes.
Hopeful, wishful thinking.
All right, well, if there's nothing else, I also would like to get some coffee and breakfast and get someone out of my office, as she looks over at Galen and then back to all of you. Thank you for your time. And she just shoos everybody out of her office as you head out into Saltmarsh for the day. So, as we, unless any of you wanted to do anything, as we pick up this next portion of play here, we're going to do a little bit of downtime. So you do have some time before they feel ready to approach you. Probably a week will go by. That being said, you are welcome to do whatever you would like within that week. We can kind of do some montage here to, if you want to try to accomplish something a little more robust, we'll kind of like montage it, and it'll probably come down to a couple of rolls here and there. If you want to purchase anything, you could also do that. And yeah, so I'm going to go around and kind of start with each player just so that each of you can focus on what you want to do. So let's start with Volrik. Volrik, what do you want to accomplish in this week?
Yeah, so I want to speak with Anders.
Okay.
I'm looking to both share information and see what he knows about people who would be experts of Sirgal. Experts, and I use that term loosely, whatever we have in the town.
Okay.
Of the magics that also affected the Hydra. Because as you know, he's very invested in it because this is someone who sent him to a slave camp for 10 years.
Yeah. Okay. So you are you're gonna go to Anders first and see if Anders knows of anybody that would have information on these two things. Perfect. So do you just pull Anders aside after the meeting?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. He looks at you. Volrik. Yes. Interesting. Sirgal. Yes. I've heard the stories. Vicious captain, head of the Umberlee's Tyrants, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm assuming you kind of tell him of what what you found out, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I share everything with him.
Okay.
For the folks at home, briefly, that you already recapped in the beginning.
Yeah.
But essentially, trying to find out who may have placed this spell curse on the Hydra, because somebody must have cast it, and what it might do, and whether or not anyone knows more about Sirgal.
Okay.
If he's dead, trying to come back, or otherwise around.
Okay. Yeah. So he goes. Actually, Captain Eleander would be probably your best bet. You could, maybe be a little more challenging, but you could go speak with Keladek. Keladek is a bit of a recluse. I don't know if you've seen the spindly tower, not the big, great stone one where the guards are stationed, where the Lord's Alliance headquarters is, but there is a more spindly tower to the south of town. There's a wizard of sorts that resides there. Keeps to himself. A lot of folks. He's a bit rude, to be honest. A lot of folks don't trust him, but you could try that. Maybe a bit more difficult, but he might have some knowledge. And then Eleander, if you can convince him, he has a great library within his home. Lots of history books. He's quite a collector. You could try him as well.
All right. Do I have time for both of them over this week?
Yes, you do. I will say these will be essentially persuasion rolls, right? You are trying to kind of ingratiate yourself into letting them use their resources. So who would you like to start with?
I would like to start with Eleander first.
Eleander. Okay, perfect. Go ahead and make that persuasion roll for me. Oh, I don't have your dice roller up.
Oh, natural 20.
Did you actually?
Oh,
hold on.
No. I did not.
That's Shifty's. That's Shifty's roll.
Can I use his? Can I please use his? Right,
No.
I think I just got focused on the window. Here we go. All right, come on.
Shifty with it, huh?
Oh, not bad.
21. Amazing. That is really good. All right, I'm going to go back here so that... just a little bit of role play here. What do you think you go and tell Eleander, to kind of ingratiate yourself with him?
Yeah. Can you please tell me a little bit more about Eleander?
So Eleander, he's just, he is the captain of the guard of the Lord's Alliance. Sure, I'll say that with this role, maybe you kind of ask Anders a little bit about Eleander. Eleander is known for being the individual that kind of led the charge against Umberlee's tyrants. He was... actually, I actually kind of forgot about this. He would actually be a perfect person to talk about Sirgol with. He was there during the final battle with Umberlee's tyrants when they were all pushed out of the region. And Eleander, he's, this imposing barrel-chested man, fiery red hair, and on his right leg, just where the right knee is, he has a finely carved wooden peg leg. And Anders informs you, he actually lost that during his time with the Lord's Alliance when they were fighting Umberlee's tyrants. So, just a little bit of history there. He definitely would have some stories about Sirgol, maybe some ideas of the powers that he had. And as I said, he has this great collection of history books. So, Volrik, you go and find Eleander. What do you think you say to him to kind of...
Yeah. Well, Eleander, you know as well as anybody how vicious and vile the Umberlee's tyrants were, and Sirgol in particular. We've already told you what we found out. What I'm trying to find out is Sirgol dead and trying to come back? Or is he somehow alive? Or something else?
Yes, this is quite fascinating what you've told me here. I really thought he was gone. I was there, I saw his ship go under the waves. And I do remember that symbol, that one you described, that spiraling vortex. Well, what can I do for you?
Well, so that Hydra, that spell, that sigil, he's around, whether he survived or he's coming back, someone's trying to bring him back. I want to know who would have put that spell on the Hydra, and I would like to know if anybody has any rumors or information about what may have happened to him after he died, or we think he died.
I may have some books on the material that might reveal some clues. I genuinely believe that he was gone, that he was destroyed in that final battle. Why don't you come to my place this evening after I get off my shift? I can show you my library. You can spend some time there.
So, Volrik, let me see here. So, what I would like you to do is go ahead. I'm just going to have you make a history check with advantage, since you have access to his library. And depending on what you get, you'll get pieces of information.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
19.
Nice. Okay. So you can gain 2 pieces of lore, of information here, based on what you're talking. Now try to be as specific as possible. So what, something specific, what are you trying to find out about? So based on this kind of broader list that you've brought forth.
Yeah, I think the primary bit for me is he alive or trying to come back? Right.
Okay.
So if anyone has any further proof that he may have probably died, or if anything, yeah. So that's number 1.
So number 1, is he alive or is he trying to come back? Okay. All right. So with that, as you're going through these history books, you start reading about accounts of Captain Sergal and the powers that he wielded and had. He seemed to have this, what a lot of people assumed was this incredibly strong connection with Umberlee, and was able to wield powers of the sea. You do find one account of late into his career, as the tyrants were being pushed back, and he seemed to be becoming more and more desperate, tapping into this power. There's one firsthand account of somebody who, it was a crew member. It was somebody who crewed with Sergal and got out just in time before his entire ship was destroyed. And it's a firsthand account of them talking about how at the end of his career and the end of his life, he started to become more reclusive, and he this sailor swears that they started to see growths appearing on Sergal. These writhing sort of tentacle-like growths sprouting from his shoulders and back. And what they believe is that he was a warlock of Umberlee, and that she was trying to claim him, bring him back to the sea. Now, whether he's back now, all of the accounts state that there's been no evidence of Sergal returning. That being said, him being a warlock, being connected to a patron, as powerful as Umberlee, and seeming to have become so infused with whatever power this was, there could be a chance that maybe she's turned him into some sort of vessel, some sort of avatar, has brought him back into the world. So nothing concrete, but potentially something there. And I guess and then what I would say further from that is that there would need to be a body, there would need to be a vessel that would actually, be inhabited by it, and that body would likely be, where the ship sunk. So when in these history books, that location is obviously very well known. So,
all right.
What is a second piece of information that as you're digging through these history books, that you're trying to find out?
Probably difficult, if not impossible, to find out who exactly cast this curse upon the Hydra. But either what type of...
Okay.
What I'm looking for. So basically, who would have, or who could have done this to the Hydra? If it would have been something from beyond, or something that some kind of...
Yeah, interesting. Okay. So reading up on, and this is a full week of doing research, trying to dig through all these books that Eleander has access to, and having to go down these like a Wikipedia, going down these wiki holes of this random information, but it leads you to something. The ritual itself, as Aize described, it was channeling negative energy, and on top of that, it was creating a connection to some sort of extraplanar being. For somebody, here's the interesting thing. Umberlee is a god that is, can be seen as malevolent and even evil at times, and she has some kind of, you know, terrible names that people refer to her as that I won't say here. And what's interesting though is that she is a god. She comes from like divine power. This ritual and what you saw and what Aize found, and as you're reading about it, similar rituals that you find that describe it, is demonic in origin and not divine, coming from the abyss. So there's a weird disconnect here where Sirgul was connected to a divine being, but this magic that was being used and the symbol that was connected to that magic was demonic in origin. So who cast it, you obviously, there's just no way you would know that based on reading these books. There are descriptions of rituals similar to this, like connecting beings to demonic forces that then corrupt them. But who could have done it is hard to say. It would have had to have been a powerful magic user. So.
Yeah. And my third question is based on the information that I have or that I surmise. Does this feel like they're trying to summon something? Does perhaps this demon that is the patron of Sirgul, or if it's trying to bring Sirgul back?
So that would require another week of research. Sorry, you only get the 2 questions answered.
That's fine. I do want to bring this to the wizard, so maybe he might have at least a shorthand.
To Kelladek?
Yep.
Okay.
So that, when we get to that point.
Okay. I'll let you do one more persuasion roll. This one's gonna be a lot harder. But go ahead.
I'm gonna ask if I can borrow those books.
From Eleander. Sure. Yeah, with a 21, Eleander allows you to do it. Are you planning to take them aboard the ship?
Well, I'll keep them with me. I want to take them to the wizard.
Got it. Yeah, okay, yeah. He says that's no problem.
So here's my persuasion forward.
I will also, just a little detail, as you are with Eleander in his home over this week, you do start to get to know his partner, this half-orc, or sorry, is he half-orc or full-orc? I'll find it later. Anyways, what is your persuasion roll? Let's see if you can speak with Kelladek.
It's a normal roll. I just need a higher threshold, right?
Higher DC, correct? Yeah.
Only an 11.
You go to the tower.
I try and be nice. Those things.
Here's the thing. You don't even get to interact with this individual. You knock on the door. You patiently wait, and there's just no answer, and no one is even giving you the time of day. All right. So, Volrik, I believe that was your downtime activity for the week.
Good. Thank you.
And we're going to move on to Rin. Sorry. So really quick, you do get to know Volrik, Eleander's partner. Just want to give this little detail in case you later on down the road want to interact with this person. So Eleander's partner is a half-orc man named Crag, who actually kind of helps you later into the week as you start to kind of get to know each other. Crag is very knowledgeable and just super fascinated by this. So he kind of comes into the room sometimes as he sort of, if you're willing to share with him. Do you share what you're doing?
Can I do it? Can I? I mean, it's more of a gut feeling, but can I do an insight roll?
Yeah. Make an insight roll. Yeah.
Looks like I closed my window here. Loading. Okay. Just because there's so many.
I know.
I definitely want to at least see what my gut says. And I roll a.
You got a 21. It looks like. He seems on the level. He is just genuinely a history nerd, essentially. So if you do share any of this with him, he tries to. he just asks questions. He seems really interested in what you're looking into. I don't know how much you share with him, but
I'll share with him, but then I make it very clear there's a lot of people that would want this information that might use it against us.
Got it.
Or otherwise keep it between us.
Yeah. He kind of nods in agreement, and helps you throughout the week, kind of like finding specific books for you to figure out this information. So that's Crag. He is Eleander's partner. And as you finish this week up, Volrik, we will then cut over to Rin. As Rin, you head out into town, and you have a full week before you. What would you like to accomplish in this week?
I mean, I was thinking about it, and I feel like what Rin would actually do isn't all that exciting. It's mainly to just kind of do research on this. I'm gonna mispronounce it, Sahuagin.
Okay.
Because everything she's learning is just kind of like as she goes. And since this is like one of the few times that she could actually prepare for it, she's probably going to look for either a library or find a research, or probably do a lot of talking to Aize to kind of understand what is to be faced up against and how she can prepare for that.
Yeah. So what I would say for you, for the Sahuagin, you could do the same thing. You probably find out that Volrik is at Eleander's place where this library is at. So you could try to like also get involved there and read these books if you can convince Eleander to have two strangers in his home. There's also, you could go to the Temple of Volker, where the priest there, as you're kind of asking around town, you do find out that the priest there is, he used to be a very experienced sailor that has, he's been a very old human man, kind of no longer can actually go out and sail anymore, but might have stories about the Sahuagin. So you could try either of those.
Before I mention that, this is like not too much of an important role playing thing. This is just a little thing to sprinkle into of something that Rin does. So part of what I imagine Rin does in between all of this is that she's sending letters home to her dad.
Yeah.
But since it's kind of moving around, she kind of sends them off, but like with just wherever she is, like, so she kind of doesn't know if they're getting sent. So just a little world thing. She sends a carrier to send a little letter of how she's doing before going off and doing research.
Do you write these letters in private, like in your room in the empty net?
Yeah, like this is not something that any of the other members of the group would know.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
a little thing to give you as the DM.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I mean, I think you are, we probably see a scene here of Rin, sitting by the window at the empty net early one morning. A bit of a squall has blown through, so there's a little bit of rain kind of against the glass pane, and we just see Rin sitting there writing out with a quill to your father. And as you seal it shut, you head down to probably actually to the council hall, which is where a lot of this stuff would take place, where there is couriers that will deliver letters throughout the realm. And then for the rest of your time, you want to look into the Sahuagin. So you want to read about the Sahuagin?
So I as much as I'd like to just go to the library, I don't want to butt in on all that role playing.
It's fine. It's fine.
Because it's like, and also Rin was there.
That's totally fine.
The whole time, which isn't too different from her just being silent the whole time. But I think I'm actually going to have her talk to the sailor too to get some, especially based off the council meeting that there's already been talk about this sort of thing, starting to affect them.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, honestly, same deal. Make a persuasion roll as you head up to the temple.
Going through all the folders. Hold on. Why can't we get this when we're fighting?
Whoa! Did you guys get a natural 20?
I do, but still, yeah, it's a natural 20.
My goodness! Look at you.
And then I come out the priestess. You wouldn't believe what happened, guys.
Okay, so you head up to the temple of Volker, who is another god of the sea, but is kind of seen as a more benevolent god, a god of sailors, helps guide sailors through storms and get them back to shore. As you approach, you see there is a depiction of this god above the entryway to this relatively simple, like, weathered wooden building. It has these, like, rounded, almost portholes for windows, and above the kind of peaked doorway, there is this almost like Viking-looking man that's sort of extending a hand out towards billowing storm clouds, and they seem to be parting before his hand, and below him there is just a series of long ships all going out to sea. As you enter into this like very like sort of dimly warm lit interior of hardwoods, almost like driftwood, almost this, this like grayish brown wood coloration to everything, and there is an altarpiece that is this very beautiful sculpture that looks to be all made of driftwood, all kind of weaving together into a form of this sort of Viking-looking individual with a big billowing beard of various pieces of driftwood that create quite a striking image of almost abstract, but you can still see the figure within. And as you ask around, you find the priest. His name is Welgar Brinehanded, because of course. And he is this older kind of crusty man with like gray, weathered hair that goes out into a big beard that is a bit kind of ratty at the ends, but he's got these like deep creases and very tan, leathery skin as he kind of turns to you, and you start to talk with him. What do you say to him? Like, what do you ask him?
Have we talked at all up to this point, or did this is my first meeting? As far as I know, he's the guy to talk to.
Yeah, I think this is your first meeting with him. This is your natural 20 to kind of like see how many stories you can get out of this guy.
All right. Obviously not exactly armed.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
just kind of as she is, right? And this big sailor, so she just kind of waves up like, hello.
Hi there. What can I do for you?
Hi. So I'm with the group of adventurers. I don't know how much word spreads around here.
Oh, yes, I've heard the stories of you lot coming through town. Doing some good work, though, it sounds.
I'm glad you're hearing the good stuff. We're looking to stand up against something that I've barely even heard stories of, never mind seen one in real life. The Sahuagin. And he sounded like the man to talk to.
Oh, I know of them sea devils. I could tell you stories, lass. I could tell you stories that would, well, you'd have a hard time going to sleep, let me tell you.
She gets out like a Bert falls. She gets out a notebook and a quill is like all ready.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay.
All right. Yeah. So, this is interesting. I actually want you to. I want you to roll an insight check for this. This is to parse through the tall tales of this old priest telling you about all these stories of Sahuagin. We'll see what you can gain from it.
All right. This is one of my more fine insight checks I've done. All right, let's go.
A 19, nice. Okay, so same as Volrik. Actually, you can get 2 pieces of lore on the Sahuagin. So we don't have to role play the whole thing out, but like what are 2 specific things you want to know about the Sahuagin, and then I can give you some more generalized things.
But I suppose I had all this time to think about it, and I didn't think up specific 2 things. So I suppose Rin would ask in terms of how if they for the I'm trying to think of how to ask this not as a player way, like how would
go ahead, you can ask you can totally ask player stuff for this. This is fine.
I guess as a player way, like just in terms of surprise attacks, I guess
attacks? Okay.
Like is that like if they would be able to detect any sneak that easly, or if
so they're kind of perceptive ability.
Yes.
Okay.
And well, I'm looking at the chat. I'm like, well, they're carnivores, so I think we could guess. I suppose the second thing would be what doesn't work on them in terms of attacks, though, which is open and ended up enough that you could be a little vague.
Sure.
So I assume that you'll have to be.
Yeah. Okay. So how perceptive they are. The Sahuagin. Okay. So the Sahuagin, like any humanoid creature, as you are hearing these stories being regaled to you, they are. I think Rin is actually interesting, Rin, especially with your background. You are hearing these like horrible horror stories, of like almost like Jaws-esque, right? Like the doll eyes before they arrive on you and devour you whole. So they are associated with sharks, and you hear about the god that they worship, Sekala, which is like the great maw, the great shark god that will devour all and make a new world for the Sahuagin. In terms of their perceptiveness, it just really depends. There are some Sahuagin within their society, as you're kind of hearing these stories be told, you pick up on there are some individuals that are definitely, trained within the art of war and within, honing their senses. So it just kind of depends on who you come across. You hear a story of there are colloquially known within common, there are some Sahuagin that are considered champions, that are great warriors, and they have they are pretty perceptive. They have their skills honed enough that they not a lot gets a drop on them. So if you come across just your average Sahuagin, just like any other, humanoid, any other guard or warrior you may come across, but there are those with higher training, higher skills that are able to detect foes trying to encroach on them. For your other question about what attacks would be effective against them, like what are their weaknesses?
I suppose like what's like, is there a big obvious that attack, that illusion, etc., is like this has been seen of to easily fail on these guys.
Right. So
that's where it's like a big enough question that you probably can't.
Yeah. No, I can kind of answer this. So any magic that relies on the trying to think of how to word this without being super metagamey about it. But
Yeah, that's why I was worried about the question.
kind of any magic that relies on a creature's sort of kind of control of themselves, like control of their like understanding of themselves, and they're like, you know, like losing their temper essentially, because like the Sahuagin, you do find out, you hear all these stories that all of them, when blood gets in the water, they go into this frenzy. They become more ferocious and bloodthirsty. So to put it in mechanical terms, charisma, anything that is charisma based, spells that target that aspect of a being, they seem to have a hard time with resisting. So that's what you get from that. So yeah, you are regaled with all of these tall tales of the Sahuagin from this crusty old sailor, the priest of Volker. And by the end of the week, you hear lots of crazy stories, but you're able to parse through some of these bits of information. All right, Rin, I believe that's it for you, yes?
Yeah, just again, I haven't looked at my gold, but I'll just say for role-playing reasons that like she gets him lunch as like an exchange for information. Like she just comes in.
Yeah, I would say go ahead and just mark off 5 gold.
Yeah.
If you have access to that. Okay.
Give him like a Starbucks card or something.
I give a gift card. Thanks for the help.
You're welcome, lass. Welcome back anytime. Especially try to attend one of our sermons.
All right, so let's go to Shifty next, and we'll go to Aspen last. So Shifty, with your week of time, what is something you were trying to accomplish here in Saltmarsh?
Sounds like I got a couple of responsibilities to do. That first night, I recognize and send like a note discreetly to Aspen's room with a lotus that I actually discreetly picked during their time in the swamp.
Okay.
Like a lotus flower, and just a kind of like a handwritten note discussing to celebrate her founding day, the day I found her.
Okay.
3 years prior, and pretty much that's my way of saying happy birthday to her. By the way, happy birthday. To use space. Everybody is her birthday was yesterday, so
that's right.
Today.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm going to give her a little lotus flower and let her know that, you know, she definitely I got her back, and that I'm not leaving the place without her coming back with me, kind of thing. You know, just a little friendly thing saying, hey, gotcha.
Cool.
It looks like I'm now in charge of an espionage thing, so it doesn't seem like I'm going to have a lot of time to do a lot of other stuff. So only
That's
2 things
true.
I want to do is spend 50 gold, send some notes out, maybe through Larissa or some of my contacts to figure out about that one guy that we met and let go, because I want to keep him as kind of an informant, so I can become a master of whispers.
Okay. So, so you want to try to get this, you're trying to find information about this individual to get him kind of into your network, correct?
Pretty much to figure out, you know, waiting for him to come back, because like he's going to be the main clue and my main informant.
Okay.
On the side of this espionage, you know, scouting out the drop off, meeting point, things like that. He's going to be the main kind of focal point for me to be able to get that going and hear about any upcoming meetings.
Okay. So I would like you, are you being forthright with this individual when you're trying to connect with them? Like you are letting them know kind of who you are. You're going to use that symbol, right?
Yes, I'm going to put down those symbols that meet me here this time so we make that connection.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I know we're doing a lot of persuasion rolls, but I think this is a persuasion roll to see if you can get that contact into your kind of network and to help you. A 12. Okay. So with the help of Larissa and that symbol, and you said you spending a little gold on it too. Are you using gold to
I think he told me I had to spend like 50 gold to get my, get the money going around.
Right. That's right. Yes. Yeah. So the gold is kind of an abstract representation of getting into these circles and trying to find bribes, trying to find the right people. So with a 12, I'll give you this. You find out where that individual is based. They're based in Leylon, and they let you know through some thieves' cant letters that they would be willing to talk, but on their terms within Leylon. You then happy birthday, Space. You then so that's like by the end of the week you finally get a response back in Thieves' Cant from this individual. So then for the rest of the week, you said you're gonna be leading this kind of stakeout, correct?
Well, I guess would it be possible for me to do that without this guy? I guess it would be. We could set some things out, and I could put some people in charge of that.
I mean, you have
scouts.
So you have a location of where the meetings occur, and you have a description of who the individual is. So how do you want to approach that?
I'm going to get a person that I trust to help me manage that, because this needs to be like a long-term, not just a week thing.
Okay.
To keep an eye on this group, and I want one of my people that I trust to be there as well, so that I know I'm getting information and it's not being held from me. And given to somebody else.
Sure.
Like just the captain of the council.
Yeah.
I gotta look good, not them. I want to get my paid.
Okay. So what? Yeah. So you get people you trust. And
so maybe I need to spend a little bit more money on that, and I'm not sure.
Are you gonna go? Are you actually gonna go to the location and like stake it out, or that's what I want to know.
Personally, maybe the first time to just see if I can find any kind of clues, like thieves can't use symbols. Okay. If I find any symbols, kind of give a representation. But after that, once I've had a look,
perfect. Can you
set them up?
Can you make an investigation check for me? And I'll say that getting people that you trust to go out and do the stakeout, I'll give that to you since you have this like smugglers network. You got a 17. Okay. So you go to the drop point. Let's say on like the first day, you go to the drop point with like two individuals that you trust, and unfortunately you do have some Lord's Alliance scouts with you because that was part of the deal for doing this. But you go and investigate the drop point, kind of sneaking in, making sure that nobody's around, and you do indeed see signs of this being very clearly a drop point. You see some thieves can't marked on a log that indicates this is essentially like a point to gather information for Zhentarim agents. And looking at it, you see that there's a bit of thieves cant that indicates kind of the next time schedule when there will be another meeting. And it appears to be happening within like 5 days or so.
That's awful convenient.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking this guy probably got back before us. The guy that we let go and run into the swamp.
Okay.
Did he get back? Do we think he got back before us? We took ship and.
You don't know. This is like the first day, and you don't receive the letter from that individual until the end of the week. So your guess is as good as it. It's up to your intuition.
So I'm guessing not, because it's a lot faster. So then I will. Yeah, I'll definitely put the Lord's Alliance people on it. I have an intuition it might be a trap, because who actually tells where they're going to be at the place it's going to be? It's kind of a break in the chain that just like, all right, tell everybody we're going to be here, then we can make sure we get rid of any witnesses type of thing.
Okay.
So I just have them scope it out, and I tell them where they hide or whatever, or since they're experts, I guess they're gonna do their thing. But I make sure that they tell them to not engage and to just observe
Okay. So
and yeah.
So they observe this situation, and okay, so you have these individuals post up there and observe. Okay. The 5th day comes around, and you don't get any report back. The 6th day comes, you don't get a report back. 7th day comes, you don't get a report back. Do you do anything?
Nope. I'm just going. I mean,
Okay.
I know it's going to be a long term, like
So
month-long
yeah,
investigation.
the whole week goes by. You get the letter. You don't get any report back. At the end of the week, you get a report from. It's you actually get it indirectly because you find out through your network that a Lord's Alliance patrol found a series of bodies murdered in the swamp. And you quickly figure out that was your group. And all of the individuals that were posted up there for the stakeout were all very skillfully assassinated. Yeah. And I think if you do go back to investigate the drop point, you find two things. You find some thieves' cant, again, carrying over that 17 investigation. You find some thieves' cant indicating that this is no longer safe, this location.
Yeah.
You also get a bit of thieves' cant that says, I'm watching you.
All right.
So
I just I don't like that very much. So I look over my shoulders a little bit more, and yeah, I think that's gonna be it. That's all. That's gonna be my whole week, pretty much. It sounds like, unless we have a group fund later on, and we can talk about to upgrade
Excellent.
the ship and buy a ballista.
All right,
That's
excellent. Let us go
Talk about
to,
later for that.
Yeah. Let's go to our final one. Let's go to Aspen. So Aspen, what would you like to do with your week of downtime?
I think most of the week I probably would be working. I did want to take out one day to go get a pirate hat made for Shifty because he's the new captain. And I'm like, he needs and like, this is my logical thinking is, right, if Shifty wants to parade as captain, we have to give him a hat. And that way, when he's trying to flirt with people, he can say, "Oh, I'm the captain of a really big ship," or something corny like that. And I would probably get that made. However, I don't know. Well, no, I guess I wouldn't know Shifty long enough to know like his style.
Yeah.
So I would get him something, but have it like trimmed with purple.
Okay.
With my color, as a gift from me. I think I would want to pick up like some flower, like a flower.
Okay.
I would give that to Ren. I would probably pick up like a cane or something, give that to Volrik. He probably needs it. And I'll probably get a book for Aize, something he can write in.
Okay.
I would spend the day doing that, going shopping and doing that, and then I think probably the last 2 days before we go off, I would probably try to make 2 potions of healing. That's my herbalism kit.
Great. So for all the little expenses, for the things you get everybody, I'm gonna say it's 20 gold. Especially the hat. It's like a very nice, like, I'm assuming you want to get like a nice hat for Shifty, yes?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so you get it is a beautiful hat. Beautifully made, has the purple trim. You give that to Shifty. All the other things, kind of the book and all that, makes up for the rest. You're able to pass those gifts out. And then you want to make 2 potions. I believe there is...
It is.
Yeah?
Yes, I looked it up.
You did.
25 gold for 1 day.
Perfect,
So,
go ahead.
50 gold.
50 gold, yeah. So
Gotcha.
so go ahead and mark off 50 gold as you spend the week making a couple of health potions. Oh man, I kind of want to just give this to Aize really quick, because since you're doing like potion stuff, and Aize is also gonna have the whole week, and I don't think we need to really roll for this because he will eventually figure it out. Just so you're aware, the little fungus that you found, that you and Shifty were poking at, and then eventually Aspen you collected, Aize comes back to you and informs you. He says, I'm not gonna try to do Aize's voice, but he says, here it is. He says, "Oh, Aspen, this fungus here is fascinating. If you eat it, which I know sounds wild, but if you eat it, you can speak with plants for up to 8 hours."
That's interesting. That's not where I thought you were going with that, but okay.
I'm definitely going to try it one day. I think he would. I'm sorry, Chris. I think you
Well,
would.
let me know how that goes, and I hand him his book.
Okay.
And I'm gonna leave this with you.
Awesome.
And then I would just like, is it okay if I deliver the gifts?
Yes, of course. You want to give it to each person? Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah. I probably would go find Ren first, because she's probably going to be the hardest to track down. I don't know where I find you, Ren. So.
Let's see, if it's during the, like, if it's like in the middle of the week, we could just say like she's on her way to like the temple again with like another thing of lunch.
Yeah. So you see Ren is walking up this path that goes up on this cliff that overlooks the sea, and that's where the temple is, up at the top of the cliff. And yeah, you just see her heading that way.
Ren, can I get a second?
Oh, yes.
Sorry to bother you. I just wanted to give you this flower. I know you asked a couple days ago about, us being friends and everything, and honestly, I think meeting you and your companions, you have honestly brought a light back into my life that I didn't even realize I was missing. So I just wanted to get you this flower as a token of our friendship,
She takes it. And she like,
and besides,
I don't know what she would do. I feel like she'd like tuck it in with like somewhere here so she's wearing it.
Okay.
I don't know. Like just like she just wants to wear it for the day.
A beautiful, I think you are a beautiful soul. You have a beautiful soul. You're a beautiful person, and I think the world needs a lot more of that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
As I told you, especially with what we faced with Sethrith, I really began to question my place in, well, everything. But, if I could do that for you, then I think I'm in the right place.
Yeah, you even made me question myself. As you know, I'm not a hugger, and I don't know, maybe when you hugged me, that melted my heart or something. I don't know, but I think you really opened my eyes to a lot more than what I was allowing myself to see. Anyway, now I have to go give this. I have to go give this cane to your. Yeah, since I suck with any type of sentiments, like talking about my feelings. I'm not that type of person. I would rather just drown my sorrows in a pint of ale and fall into someone's bed. But to each their own.
Well, she kind of holding the flower. Well, you can show in other ways. I really appreciate it.
Um, I'm glad you like it. Do you know where I could find Volrik? I got this for him. Being blind and everything, he needs something to get around.
Yeah, I think I saw him heading to the library. Not really sure what he's doing there.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll just let her go off, and I'll make my way to the library.
Okay, yeah,
wherever. Yeah.
You head to Eleander's home, and knocking on the door, you are greeted by Crag, the half-orc, which you know to be Eleander's partner, and asking for Volrik. Crag leads you back to Volrik. Volrik, are you just like hunched over a table with like books everywhere?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So you see.
Oh my God, you can read. I did not think you could do that.
Oh, those are words?
No, I came here with sort of an olive branch, a joke between us. I won't say that we're on the fast track to becoming friends or anything like that, but I'm open to trying. I mean, you've proven yourself, we've proven ourselves. We have each other's back in battle and everything, and I kind of, when I couldn't heal your eye, it made me rather upset. So I got you this cane. And yes, no, it's not because you're old or anything. I mean, it's because I don't want you to get hurt or anything.
I appreciate the gesture, and even more so the words. I know you and Shifty are not bad people. I wouldn't put myself or Ren in a situation where something terrible could happen. But really, it's not about whether you're telling the truth or not. To me, it's about fear. What I mean is fear of opening up, fear of exposing your real self. When you're amongst friends, that's never a bad thing. But yes, as long as it takes, Aspen. And I appreciate the cane. I didn't know if you noticed that I was old. Thanks for the reference.
Oh, Kurt, I didn't notice. You don't look a day over 40. And I'll hold my hand out for you to shake.
I reach out and then I come closer. I say, a hug.
Okay. Yeah. And I'll just wrap him. I'll let him. It's like that, one of those awkward hugs.
Yep. And I don't hold back, and I also use my giant's might, and I'll grow as long as my head won't hit the ceiling.
Oh yeah. Oh great.
Give her a nice big squeeze, and then I hold her by her shoulder since now I'm like huge, and I say, "We will be a family of adventurers."
Are you proper?
Not that kind of family.
Oh, okay.
No. Once everything opens up, then it's us against them. That's the best way. And when we're in the thick of the fight, it really matters. That makes sense?
Of course. You're down an ally, someone who provided you with extra strength. Hopefully, I can try to fulfill that role. I'm not usually a frontliner, but I can be. So, if you want to run into battles, I guess I can run alongside you. For the time being, anyway.
Yeah.
Until he comes back.
I shrink back to normal size, and I take my hands off her shoulders. I appreciate you coming. I'm more optimistic now than I was earlier.
Well, hopefully you can see that where we stand is not always going to be in this hostile place. So,
Appreciate you.
do you like this hat? I'm sorry, just one question. Like, I have this hat for Shifty. You think it fits him? You think it looks?
It'll make him look taller.
You know, I was saying the same thing when I was getting commissioned. You know, he's always talking about being short and everything.
Do you have a hat that could go all the way down over his mouth so you can't hear him talking?
Unfortunately, I do not. I also don't have any spells that would do that. But if I did, I would.
And I think that'll do.
I'll let you get back to your research.
So, Aspen, as you head out of Eleander's place, you just have a brief moment as you're crossing the threshold of the door to leave. You kind of feel a little bit of warmth run up your back shoulders where those two scars are. Just for a moment. And then it fades. And as you head out into the city of Saltmarsh and all of you wrap up your various weekly activities, you eventually do get a summons from the council. And as the week continues on, you start to see activity within the town building. Towards the end of the week, you see more Lizardfolk show up. 2 more Lizardfolk show up, going into the council hall throughout the day. You see them like having conversations, and by the end of the week, you see some movement in the harbor of like something large swimming through the water, and popping up out of the water. You see some of those strange fish folk. And they are riding on top the backs of these massive eels that are just snaking themselves through the water. They kind of give some waves to some of the surprised sailors and flop up onto shore, and they also waddle towards the council hall. And at the very end of the week, Shifty, one day as you're walking down by the harbor, after having this stakeout that unfortunately didn't go quite your way. Are you wearing your big hat that Aspen gave you?
I'm not sure. Did she give it to me yet?
I'm gonna say at this point, yes. I mean, we're about to end the episode here. Is that all right, Aspen?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So Shifty, do you wear the hat that you get from Aspen?
Of course I do.
Okay.
And I also see that Ren's wearing my flower, and I give her.
So you have this great big hat on as you're walking down by the harbor, and you hear a voice call out from the water, "I recognize you." And as you look over, you see Mitya, the merfolk woman, rising up out of the water. She gives a quick wave, and she kind of smiles for a moment. Nice hat. As she dives off into the water, swims off, and you see her come out on the other side and start slithering awkwardly her way up to the council hall as well. And with that, we will end our session there. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. We'll see you all next week as everybody gears up to face off against the Sahuagin. And yeah, it'll be interesting, and we'll have a surprise guest, a surprise new player showing up. So look forward to that. All right, thank you, everybody. We will see you next week, and yeah, goodbye.